I tried every debt payoff method for 30 days. Here's the winner. Day 1. The breaking point. The weight of unmanaged money sat at my kitchen table, surrounded by a mountain of unopened envelopes. The clock ticked past midnight. My hands shook as I finally tore open the last red stamp. The numbers blurred, but the message was clear. I owed more than I made. Panic set in like cold water. I had spent years ignoring the problem, telling myself tomorrow would be better. But tomorrow never came. Debt had quietly taken over my life. It felt like a heavy chain around my ankles. I realized I could not outrun it. I needed a plan. First, I gathered every single bill. I wrote down the exact amount I owed on each card. Then, I calculated my monthly income. The math was ugly. The gap was wide. But writing it down made it real. Hiding from the numbers only feeds fear. Facing them brings power. The first step to freedom is brutal honesty. You must look your debt straight in the eye. No excuses. No blaming the economy. Just raw truth. Once you see the full picture, you stop guessing and start fighting. Today, I chose to stop running. I chose to face the beast. And I promised myself I would not quit until every single dollar was gone. Day 3. The score that shook me. Protecting your reputation. 3 days into my mission, I made a terrifying click. I opened my credit score on my phone. The screen loaded slowly. When the number appeared, I nearly dropped the device. It was terrible. I felt exposed and ashamed. Your credit score is not just a number. It is a financial report card that banks read before they trust you. Low scores mean higher interest rates, denied apartments, unlimited job options. I had let small choices compound into a massive penalty. I learned that payment history and credit usage make up most of your score. Missing a late fee once might seem small, but lenders remember everything. So, I set up automatic payments for every single account. I also lowered my credit card balances to under 30% of my limit. This simple shift started repairing the damage. Protecting your financial name matters. The Bible teaches us that a good name is more desirable than great riches. Your reputation is built on keeping your word and honoring your agreements. Treat every bill like a sacred promise. When you pay on time, you build trust. When you ignore the numbers, you lose freedom. Guard your score like a treasure. It opens doors that talent alone cannot unlock. Day 5. Hunting for answers. The search for wisdom. Day 5. My kitchen table had transformed into a library. I stacked best-selling finance books on the wood. I read through pages by Ramsey, Burkitt, and Dayton. My eyes were tired, but my mind was wide open. Every author agreed on one thing. You cannot escape debt without a system. Guessing will never beat a spreadsheet. I searched for a method that felt both practical and deeply rooted in faith. I needed steps I could actually follow. I did not want empty promises. I wanted a roadmap. The books taught me that money is a tool, not a master. They warned against lifestyle inflation. They celebrated small, boring choices that create massive results over time. Wisdom does not shout. It whispers through consistent habits. I realized I had been borrowing from tomorrow to pay for today. That trap only gets deeper the longer you stay in it. I took notes on 3 different payoff strategies. I compared their rules, their timelines, and their emotional toll. The research phase is critical. You cannot fix what you do not understand. Spend time studying before you spend time sweating. Knowledge is armor against impulse. When you arm yourself with proven methods, panic turns into purpose. I was ready to test them. Day 7. A prayer in the dark. Stewardship over ownership. On the 7th night, the house was quiet. I turned off the lights and sat on the floor. The numbers still felt heavy, but my heart felt lighter. I finally spoke a simple prayer. I admitted that I had been managing money like it belonged to me. But the truth hit hard. Everything I own was given to me to manage. I am not the owner. I am a caretaker. This shift in thinking changed everything. Stewardship means you handle resources with care, honesty, and gratitude. You do not waste what is entrusted to you. When I viewed my paycheck as a loan from God, my attitude shifted. I stopped seeing budgeting as a prison. I started seeing it as a trust assignment. Financial freedom begins when you surrender control. You stop asking how to get more and start asking how to handle what you have. The best finance teachers echo this ancient truth. They teach that ownership breeds greed, while stewardship breeds peace. When you manage well, you honor the giver. When you waste, you break trust. I decided to treat every dollar as a sacred resource. I would spend with intention, save with purpose, and give with joy. Stewardship is the foundation. Without it, every other strategy will fail. Day 9. Mapping the mess. Accountability through planning. Day 9 brought a new routine. I bought a cheap notebook and a fresh pen. I titled the first page my battle plan. I listed every income source on the left side. Then I tracked every expense on the right. The math was tight, but the clarity was refreshing. A budget is not a restriction. It is a map that tells your money where to go. Without it, your cash slips away on forgotten subscriptions and impulse coffee runs. I assigned every single dollar a job. Rent got its share. Groceries got their limit. Debt received the rest. The moment I finished the sheet, my shoulders relaxed. Planning removes the guesswork. It forces you to face hard choices early. You see where the leaks are. You decide what gets funded and what gets paused. Accountability lives in this process. You cannot claim progress if you do not track your steps. The best systems are simple. They fit on one page. They require honesty, not perfection. When you plan ahead, you stop reacting to emergencies. You start directing your life. I pinned that notebook to my fridge. I would update it every Sunday night. This small habit would become my compass. Day 12. The Snowball begins. Momentum through small Wincy started my experiment on day 12. I chose the debt snowball method first. The rule was simple. I listed my debts from the smallest balance to the largest. I paid the minimum on everything except the tiniest one. I threw every extra dollar at that small balance. It felt strange. Why attack a $50 card when a $5,000 one was looming? But psychology matters more than math in the beginning. Winning matters. I watched that first balance shrink. Victor brought a victory. The smallest card hit 0. I celebrated quietly. I took the money I was paying on that card and rolled it into the next smallest one. The payment grew. The snowball started rolling. This method feeds hope. Quick wins rebuild confidence. They prove you can finish what you start. Many people quit because they see no progress for months. The snowball solves that. It gives your brain immediate proof that change is possible. You do not need a massive income to start. You just need focus and consistency. When you cross that first debt off your list, something shifts inside. You stop feeling like a victim. You start feeling like a warrior. Momentum is built, one small win at a time. Day 14. Waiting on the harvest. Patience and perseverance set 2 weeks in. The excitement faded. The snowball was moving, but the larger debt still looked huge. I felt the familiar urge to give up. This is where most people quit. They expect instant results. Real change takes time. I reminded myself of an ancient lesson. Farmers do not plant seeds and expect a crop the next morning. They water, they wait, and they trust the process. Patience is not passive. It is active waiting. It means showing up even when the results are invisible. I kept tracking every payment. I watched the principal drop slowly. It was boring, but it was working. Perseverance beats talent every single time. You do not need to be rich to get free. You just need to refuse to stop. The books warned me about this phase. They called it the valley of discipline. It is the gap between the first win and the final breakthrough. Cross it by focusing on the habit, not the highlight. Keep your eyes on the daily choice, not the distant finish line. When you honor the boring days, you earn the joyful ones. Patience is the bridge between desire and reality. Walk it one step at a time. Do not rush the harvest. Day 16. The Avalanche shift. Strategic wisdom in choice. And day 16. I paused the snowball to test the avalanche. The logic was cold, but brilliant. This method ignores the balance size. It targets the highest interest rate first. I listed my debts by percentage, not dollar amount. The card charging 24% sat at the top. I paid minimums everywhere else and poured all extra cash into that one. The math proved it. Interest stops your progress like quicksand. Removing the steepest debt saves thousands over time. This method demands discipline. You might not see a full account vanish for months, But the total debt shrinks faster on paper. It requires a long-term view. You trade quick hits for lasting efficiency. Wisdom often looks like restraint. It says no to the easy path, so you can walk the smart one. Choosing the Avalanche means accepting delayed gratification. It means trusting the system even when your emotions crave a win. This strategy teaches you to prioritize value over visibility. High interest steals your future. Killing it first protects your wealth. I ran the numbers side by side. Both methods work, but the Avalanche rewards patience and calculation. It proves that smart choices outlast loud choices every time. Day 18, picking your weapon. Seeking Divine Guidance had tested both strategies. Now I had to choose one for the long haul. I felt torn. My brain loved the Avalanche math, but my heart needed the Snowball wins. I stepped outside for air. I asked a simple question. Which method matches my character? The best plans fail if you hate following them. Financial success requires alignment between your system and your soul. I turned to a timeless principle. When you lack wisdom, you ask for it. You do not have to guess your path. Guidance comes through quiet reflection, honest self-assessment, and steady counsel. I wrote down my personality traits. I am easily discouraged by slow progress. I thrive on visible milestones. I realized the Snowball was better suited for my temperament. Choosing the right tool is an act of humility. It means admitting your weaknesses and building around them. You do not fight your nature. You direct it toward good ends. I committed to the Snowball. I felt peace wash over me. The decision was no longer a burden. It became a promise. You will not outperform a system that breaks your spirit. Pick the weapon that fits your hand. Then swing it faithfully. Day 20, cutting the cards. Obedience and discipline. By day 20, my wallet felt different. I had removed every credit card. They sat in a drawer, frozen and forgotten. This step felt extreme at first, but it was necessary. You cannot dig out of a hole while still using the same shovel. Debt requires new soil. Cutting off easy spending forces creativity. It forces you to rely on cash and planning. Discipline is not punishment. It is protection. It keeps you from repeating old mistakes. I switched to a debit card for groceries. I used cash for entertainment. The friction slowed my spending down. I felt every purchase. That pause saved hundreds of dollars a month. Obedience to simple rules creates massive freedom later. You cannot build wealth while feeding the habit that created your poverty. Remove the triggers. Unsubscribe from sales emails. Leave the store cards at home. Build a buffer between desire and checkout. Every time you say no to impulse, you say yes to your future. This phase felt restrictive, but it was actually liberating. I stopped chasing shiny things. I started valuing peace. True obedience costs comfort up front, but it pays dividends in freedom. Guard your habits fiercely. They shape your destiny. Day 22. Walking together. Unity in financial partnership. Money fights often break homes. I knew I had to talk to my family about my experiment. I gathered everyone at the table on day 22. I laid out the budget, the debt list, and my plan. At first, they resisted. Change feels like loss. But I spoke with calm honesty. I explained that financial freedom is a team sport. You cannot run one leg alone while others pull backward. We needed alignment. We discussed trade-offs. We agreed to pause vacations and skip new gadgets until the numbers shifted. Unity means sharing the vision and sharing the sacrifice. When everyone understands the why, the how becomes easier. We set up a weekly check-in meeting. We celebrated small drops in the debt total. We held each other accountable without shame. Partnership requires grace. There will be slip-ups. There will be tense moments. But you recover by returning to the shared goal. A united household multiplies progress. Divided finances drain energy. Build trust through transparency. Communicate before you spend. Listen more than you lecture. When you walk together, the burden lightens. The journey becomes a shared mission. Unity turns financial stress into family strength. Day 24. Extra hands at work. Diligence pays debts. Day 24 brought exhaustion. The budget was tight, and the debt was heavy. I needed more fuel. I could not budget my way out if the income stayed flat, so I opened a second front. I started a weekend side gig. I took on simple freelance tasks after my main job. I sold and used gear online. Every extra dollar went straight to the Snowball. Diligence means working with focus and purpose. It means squeezing out waste and adding value wherever you can. Hard work is not glamorous, but it is reliable. It bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. I worked longer hours, but my mind stayed clear. I knew every extra shift shaved months off my timeline. The principle is ancient. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. You do not need a miracle income. You need consistent effort. Stack small opportunities. Say yes to reasonable extra work. Trade idle time for focused labor. The snowball grows faster when you add fuel. Diligence proves your commitment. It shows you are serious. Sweat now buys rest later. Keep your hands moving. Keep your eyes forward. Day 26. Giving first. Generosity breaks scarcity. Day 26. A strange thought hit me. I was still paying off debt, yet I felt a pull to give. Old habits screamed to hoard everything until I was free, but the books and my faith pointed elsewhere. Generosity is not a reward for having plenty. It is a weapon against fear. When you give while you are still healing, you declare that you trust the source, not the savings. I decided to allocate a small percentage to charity. It hurt my budget at first, but something shifted in my spirit. I stopped living in lack. I started living in abundance mindset. Giving breaks the grip of greed. It reminds you that money is a river, not a reservoir. When you let it flow, it returns in unexpected ways. Generosity also rewires your brain. It trains you to see others, not just yourself. It kills isolation. I noticed my spending on trivial things dropped. My priorities clarified. I was not losing money by giving. I was buying freedom from fear. Start small. Give what you can, when you can. Keep the habit alive. It keeps your heart soft and your hands open. Scarcity shrinks when generosity expands. Day 28. The safety net. Preparedness and trust's final days approached. My debt was shrinking, but life never stops throwing surprises. Car repairs, medical bills, and broken appliances do not care about your payoff plan. I knew I needed a shield. I started building a starter emergency fund. I saved $500 first. Then I aimed for $1,000. This cash sat untouched in a separate account. It was not for spending. It was for surviving. Preparedness is an act of wisdom. It keeps you from borrowing again when crisis hits. You do not need $1 million to be safe. You need enough to cover a minor storm. This fund buys peace of mind. It stops panic. It gives you room to breathe. Trust does not mean ignoring reality. It means planning for the hard days, while resting in quiet hope. I treated this fund like a fire extinguisher. You hope you never need it, but you are glad it is there. Start small. Skip one takeout meal a week. Put the difference away. Watch it grow. When trouble comes, you will not reach for a credit card. You will reach for your savings. That is true freedom. Day 29. The final stretch. The joy of keeping promise. Day 29 arrived with a strange calm. Only one small balance remained. The snowball had rolled past every obstacle. I could see the finish line. I gathered the exact amount needed. I opened the payment portal. My hands were steady. This moment felt different than day one. The fear was gone. The weight had lifted. I realized the real victory was not just the money. It was the character I built along the way. I kept my word to myself. I followed through when quitting was easier. That integrity matters more than any number. Keeping promises to your future self builds unshakable confidence. You learn to trust your own voice again. I double-checked the figures. I pressed confirm. The screen loaded. The status changed to paid in full. A quiet cheer echoed in my empty room. I leaned back and closed my eyes. The journey had been long, but every hard choice was worth it. Joy floods the soul when effort meets result. This was proof that systems work. It was proof that patience pays. Celebrate your commitments. They are the bricks that build your new life. Day 30. The last payment. The triumph of faithfulness. Day 30 was the official close. I printed the final statement. I placed it beside my notebook. The numbers read 0. No more minimums. No more interest. No more sleepless nights. I had survived the experiment. More importantly, I had changed. Faithfulness is not a single act. It is 1,000 small choices stacked together. It is saying no to the easy spend. It is opening the bill instead of hiding it. It is showing up for your budget when motivation dies. The triumph belongs to the faithful. They win because they do not stop. I realized the method was just a tool. The real driver was daily obedience to the plan. You can have the best strategy, but it means nothing without follow-through. Faithfulness proves your priorities. It shows what you value. When you honor your commitments, you honor yourself. The bank balance is just a mirror. It reflects your habits. Today, I saw discipline reflected back. I felt light. The chains were gone. The experiment worked because the principles were sound. But more than that, it worked because I refused to quit. Faithfulness turns ordinary steps into extraordinary freedom. Week 5. Looking back, reflection and gratitude. 5 weeks after the final payment, the silence felt different. It was not the heavy quiet of fear. It was the peaceful stillness of rest. One spent a Sunday morning reading my notebook. I traced the journey from panic to peace. The math told the story, but my heart told the lesson. Gratitude washed over me. I was thankful for the struggle. It forced me to grow. I would not trade the hard months for easy years. Reflection is the bridge between experience and wisdom. Without it, you repeat the same mistakes. With it, you build better habits. I asked myself what changed the most. It was not my income. It was my mindset. I stopped running from the truth. I started facing it with courage. I learned that progress is messy. It requires patience, correction, and grace. Gratitude anchors you in the present. It reminds you how far you have come. When you feel stuck, look back at the mountain you already climbed. Thank the tools that worked. Thank the people who supported you. Thank the quiet voice that pushed you forward. Reflection turns pain into power. Week 6. Beyond the balance. True wealth is contentment. Zero balance felt amazing, but I knew the danger of shifting goalposts. Wealth does not end debt. Greed simply finds a new target. I had to guard my heart. True wealth is not a number. It is contentment. It is being at peace with what you have while working wisely for tomorrow. I learned that comparison is a thief. Social media screams that you need more, better, faster, but contentment whispers that enough is plenty. When you find joy in simple things, you escape the consumer trap. You stop buying to impress. You start living to thrive. Contentment requires daily practice. It means turning off ads. It means valuing relationships over retail therapy. It means sleeping well because your mind is free. Financial experts agree that happiness plateaus after basic needs are met. The rest is mindset. I focused on gratitude lists. I celebrated free experiences. I realized that a quiet dinner at home beats a stressed vacation any day. Guard your satisfaction fiercely. When you are content, debt loses its power. You become uncheckable. Peace is the real prize. Week 7. Open hands. Generosity as a response to grace. With debt gone and an emergency fund secure, my giving capacity expanded. I no longer donated out of guilt or pressure. I gave from overflow. Generosity feels entirely different when you are free. It is light. It is joyful. It becomes a natural response to grace. You give because you were helped. You share because you were saved from the trap. I started funding a local community program. I bought groceries for a neighbor in need. These acts brought more satisfaction than any purchase ever did. Giving shifts your focus outward. It kills self-centeredness. It connects you to your community. The best financial teachers say that generosity is the ultimate test of wealth. If you cannot share, you are still a prisoner. Money rules you. But when you open your hands, you break the chains. You declare that you are a conduit, not a container. Let resources flow through you. Bless others without tracking the return. The joy of giving is immediate and lasting. It multiplies peace. Keep your hands open. Keep your heart wide. Freedom is meant to be shared. Week 8. Guarding the gate. Continuous stewardship. Freedom is not a one-time event. It is a daily maintenance routine. Week 8 brought a new rule. I would never stop budgeting. I would never ignore the numbers. Stewardship is a lifestyle. It requires constant attention. You guard the gate against old habits. You review your plan monthly. You adjust for life changes. You celebrate progress without relaxing your standards. Complacency is the enemy of freedom. It whispers that you can slide back into bad choices. You cannot. You must stay awake. Keep your system alive. Use simple apps or paper trackers. Whatever works for you. Just do not stop. Treat your finances like a garden. Pull weeds before they spread. Water the good seeds regularly. Harvest the results with gratitude. Continuous care prevents future crises. You'll face inflation, job shifts, and family needs. Your budget will change, but the principle stays. Plan first, spend second, save always. Stewardship is the armor that keeps you free. Wear it daily. Never drop your guard. Peace belongs to the vigilant. The invitation. Empowerment and encouragement. How I turn the page toward you. This experiment was not just mine. It belongs to anyone willing to start. You do not need perfect timing. You do not need a perfect income. You just need a pen, a plan, and the courage to begin. Write down your numbers today. Face the truth without shame. Pick one simple method. Attack it with focus. Do not wait for a miracle. Create one through action. Empowerment lives in the first step. The second step is just as important. Every time you feel weak, remember why you started. Keep your eyes on the goal. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. Avoid voices that drain your resolve. You are capable of more than you think. Your past mistakes do not define your future freedom. Forgive yourself. Move forward. Take control. You have the tools. You have the knowledge. You have the strength. Begin now. Do not let fear steal your tomorrow. Grab your life back. Write your own victory story. I will be cheering for you. Tomorrow's horizon. Hope and future living look ahead. Imagine a life where bills are paid on time. Imagine opening your bank app without anxiety. Imagine planning vacations instead of surviving paychecks. That future is waiting. It is built on the choices you make today. Hope is not wishful thinking. It is confident expectation rooted in action. When you follow the steps, you earn the right to dream big. Future living means building assets. It means investing wisely. It means leaving a legacy of peace for your family. You break generational cycles by choosing differently. You teach your children that money serves them, not the other way around. Hope fuels long-term vision. It keeps you going when the road gets steep. Keep your eyes fixed on the horizon. Do not let daily noise distract you from your destination. Plan with purpose. Save with intent. Grow with wisdom. The best years are ahead. You have already survived the worst part. Now walk into the light. Step boldly into the life you fought for. Tomorrow rewards today's courage. The ripple effect. Influence and service or financial healing does not stop at your door. It ripples outward. When you get free, you inspire others. Family members notice your calm. Friends ask for advice. You become a living example of change. Service flows naturally from stability. You can mentor someone drowning in debt. You can share your budget template. You can simply listen without judgment. Influence is earned through authenticity, not perfection. People trust those who walked the same hard road. You do not need a degree to help. You just need a story and a willing heart. Be generous with your lessons. Celebrate their wins. Offer grace for their stumbles. The cycle breaks when you refuse to pass on the stress. You pass on hope instead. Your peace becomes a refuge for others. Your discipline becomes a roadmap for their journey. Never underestimate the power of one person changing direction. It shifts the entire room. Lead by example. Serve with humility. Watch the ripple grow into a wave. Freedom multiplies when shared. Keep the fire alive. Dependence on God's systems are vital, but they are not enough. You need a source deeper than willpower. Dependence keeps the fire alive. When pride rises, it reminds you of your limits. When fear returns, it offers a steady anchor. Lean into quiet moments. Ask for guidance daily. Trust that you are never alone in this journey. Wisdom flows when you stay open and humble. Do not let success breed arrogance. Keep your spirit grounded. Remember that every good tool was given to serve you. Use them well, but look upward for direction. Faith is the foundation that holds the structure together. It turns routines into rituals. It turns stress into surrender. Keep praying. Keep reading. Keep walking in truth. The path requires both practical steps and spiritual strength. Do not separate them. Let them work together. Dependence is not weakness. It is the smartest strategy you will ever use. Stay connected. Stay humble. Keep moving forward with quiet confidence. The journey continues, but you are held. The real prize. Peace that lasts 30 days tested me. 30 weeks shaped me. The zero balance is just a number. The real prize is peace. It is the quiet sleep without payment anxiety. It is the freedom to say yes to opportunities. It is the joy of knowing you kept your promises to yourself. Financial peace outlasts every market shift. It anchors your family through hard seasons. It becomes your greatest legacy. Chase peace, not just profit. Build habits that protect your mind and your wallet. Stay grounded in wisdom. Keep serving others. Guard your contentment fiercely. You have crossed the line from bondage to liberty. Walk forward with purpose. Never forget the lessons of the struggle. They are your armor. Share them freely. Live them daily. The debt is gone, but the discipline remains. Let it guide you into a life of quiet confidence. You made it. The experiment worked. The principles hold true. Now go build your future. Step into the life you earned. Peace is yours. Keep it, grow it, share it,